Hello there, what is going on everyone? We are taking a look at the Hellsmiths of Hashut army set from Warhammer Age of Sigmar. The Chaos Dwarves have finally showed up. This pre-order has just come in, and I'm delighted to, we're going to unbox it. We're going to show you everything that comes in this box. This is a $200 box, and it is a pretty incredible value. You're getting kind of this, like an army starter. This is an army starter for them. You're also getting a battle tome. You're getting some cards. You're getting some decals, and a couple of big models too, which is really cool. If you guys are new here to the channel, we talk a lot about tabletop games, a lot of science fiction, Star Wars games, but we also get, I've been doing a lot of Age of Sigmar coverage lately. This is, we're doing a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. I'd love to have you stick around. All you have to do to enter to win that is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. This also has a spearhead army. Oh, awesome. I didn't even read the back. I didn't even realize it was this. I don't play a whole lot of spearhead, although it's a very cool format. But yeah, so I'm going to open this up. But we are going to be getting a Dominator engine, which is a really cool one. And this one, again, a lot of times I will do a full build when I do an unboxing. This is one of those armies that I'm not going to do. Every one of these guys can be built multiple ways. I think there's going to have to be some magnetization, especially with this guy. He's got like, from the preview, he's got like two different kinds of arms that make him function as like more melee or more ranged, like flamethrower versus big cannons or stuff like that. We've got this Tormentor Bombard. We've got the War Despot, and a unit of Infernal Cohort, which is 11 models for this unit, which is really a very interesting thing. I have a feeling that this one little guy is like a token rather than an actual model. I have a feeling it's actually a 10-person unit, but these are the Chaos Dwarves, long awaited, and this is a great value too, because I mean, for 200, you're getting a full army starter. You're getting the spearhead. You're getting the battle tome. You're getting cards. And I'm curious if we're only getting cards for what comes in here, the warscroll cards for this, or for the whole faction. All right, so let's look at our stuff here. We've got, this looks like this is the big artillery piece. These look like pieces for the artillery guy. We've got the big hats. As you can see there, we're definitely getting all those big hats, which is one of the, I guess, the hallmarks. Now, I've never been a Chaos Dwarf player. But I started playing a lot of Caradron Overlords and then Skaven, which made me love both Dwarves and Chaos. I do have some Fire Slayers, not very many, but I kind of dig what's going on with the Dwarves right now, with the Duardin for 40k, and well, the 40k has some really cool looking dwarves too, but Age of Sigmar has and all of GW stuff. We got really big, very cool looking shields here. I feel like their shields are going to be a real fun ones to paint, and they're all have very subtle differences in the patterning too. So I don't have a color scheme in mind yet for these guys. I was thinking maybe black and red, but I'd love to hear some of your guys' thoughts on a good color scheme for Chaos Dwarves. I mean, they have the kind of the bronze and purple thing going on for sure, but I think there's more that we can do. This is going to be that despot, that big leader. Look at the big horns on this guy. He's very fun. And then we've got more dudes. Lots of dudes here. Lots of big spear guys too. I will say I do like spears. There's a lot of different weapon options here too. And this is kind of what goes into why I don't necessarily know if I want to build all of these guys for this particular unboxing, because there's so many different ways that you can build these guys. And that I have to really sit down and think about how I want to run them, how I want them to be. This looks like that's that Dominator engine, that really big, kind of really awesome looking piece. There is still more to the Hellsmiths than what we are seeing here. There's a really big bull. That one, I don't know when that's out or if that's out already or not, but there's definitely more stuff coming. And it does seem like there's going to be a round 2 or a wave 2 for these guys, because all the units that they've announced do have like alternate ways that you can build and run them, but still it's kind of like wave 1. So inside the box here we've got what is over on this side? We got bases. There we go. All right, so I'm going to pull out the insert. It's a pretty cool looking insert. We have this big box here in the middle, but we've got all of our bases, and then that Dominator engine base, and then the artillery bases as well. So yeah, we've got all of that stuff. This looks like this one's going to be for that little extra token guy for the one unit, and then our leader base for right there. But this is the meat and potatoes of it all right here. All right, let's see what we've got here. We've got now this is a narrow battle tome, but an alternate exclusive cover for this particular box. So this is cool. I like that. Oh, we've got some. All right, so we've got kind of a gold or bronze inlaid sort of logo here on the front of the cover. And also right here as well. Very pretty book, and it's got such a I love the texture of like a brand new hardcover like this. It's just got that kind of matte feel to it. It just feels really good. So I'm going to go over all the contents first, and then we'll look at everything. We've got build instructions right there. We've got all of this. We've got oh wow, they put a whole bunch of a foam board in here too to hold everything in place, which is a pretty clever way of doing it and giving it that kind of cool ritualistic opening and thematic feel, which is also very, very cool. Now we've got our build instructions here. This is, I'm going to get a close-up on some of these because I want to show you some of the different ways that you can build these guys out. So let's close in on that, and we'll also take a look at their cards. All right, so here's the build guide. I'm just going to talk about your bases. Always have pretty good instructions for the models and how you put everything together. Here's the despot, and here's our dominator engine. But like this is what I'm talking about with the dominator engine, right? You have the immolation cannons or the bane maces, and they're each going to have very different weapon profiles. And granted, in casual games, it's not always WYSIWYG, but in the case of something as significant as cannons versus maces, I think this would be a fantastic opportunity to be able to magnetize them both and figure out which ones you want to run. Because like this one is going downward, gravity is going to have a heck of a pull on this. So you're going to need a really strong magnet in there for these guys so that the arms don't just fall off when you're moving them around the battlefield. So that's why I want to do all of that. I think it'd be fun. There's some interesting build options in here. You've got your infernal cohorts, which are like your basic infantry, right? These are like your basic battle line infantry. And as far as the scrolls, it looks like there's two different versions of them. You can build them with blades or with spears. But the weird thing is when you go into build options, you have lots of different shields and arms and different like little customization things, which is always a fun thing. But they also have axes and hammers and or at least for the champion. Maybe you just do the champion can be whoever you want. So a lot of really cool customization with these guys, which is a cool thing. I always dig that. There's one other thing that I want to point out, and it's the your Tormentor Bombard, which is that big artillery piece. You can also run it as a triple rocket, a Death Shrieker rocket battery. And so again, this is one of those, maybe you want to magnetize, maybe you just prefer one and just want to run that one hardcore. You got different options here, and so this is why it's going to take a little bit of practice and figure out how you want to do it. Let's look at the battle tome. All right, so I really do like this battle tome. It's very pretty. We're gonna go ahead and open it up. We've got lots of beautiful art in here. I love I love the promotional materials. I love all of the paint jobs in here and all of the terrain and the stuff that they've done for showcasing these guys. You're going to get lots of art. You're going to get lore. I have to read up on this because I know very, very little about their lore. So we have some fold-away stuff. Oh, look, they're going up against Caradron Overlords. It's dwarf versus dwarf, and that's something. So very cool. I'm gonna kind of skip past some of the lore and artwork, and we're gonna get to and they have this piece here, which I love. These little pages here, because there's also rules. So halfway through, we've got the rules right here, and we're gonna have their faction rules, and their big deal is they have demonic power, and units can gain demonic power points, and their units will power up based on how many demonic power points they have. And at the start of each turn, or at the start of your turn, you're going to give, remove all of the demonic power points and then reassign them. And then basically, and that's what their whole battle traits system does. The entire purpose of it is basically they can drop one desolation token on an objective or a piece of terrain per turn, and that's where they get demonic power points from. And then you can also spend command points to temporarily give demonic power points to somebody. So like, if you're not spending a command point to do it, basically you can have one during your turn. You can do this start of any turns. You can get more and more each each turn. You can keep putting down these desolation tokens, but it's not going to be until turns 2 and 3 that you start getting enough natural demonic power points to power up a full unit or a second unit. So you're going to have to use the command points early on, which means you may want to be building to 1950. You may want to be building fewer points. You may want to be the underdog for the first couple of rounds, not score as much to kind of make up for that hero power, those command point taxes. There's different battle formations. A lot of these will reference demonic power points. This one powers up your infantry. You've got a shooting one. You've got a cavalry one, and then you've got a wizard battle formation. I'm going over these kind of quick. You've got some pretty interesting heroic traits. If you're not familiar with Age of Sigmar, heroic traits and artifacts of power are bonuses that you can give one hero or a leader type character that is not a unique, so not a named character. This would be like if in Star Wars Legion turn, an Imperial officer would be an example of this. You get to do these for free. You have one of each. And then some factions and some, generals' handbooks can even do funny stuff with this, like Scourge of Giran does some cool stuff with it. This one gives a bodyguard to somebody, which is really nice. This one gives you a free opportunity to fire. It tells you to make somebody else fire at someone right as they're before they can charge you. Where only 6s will work. So if you have somebody who has like crit mortals and things like that, it's a really cool option there, because 1 through 5s will be seen as failures regardless. So you need some natural 6s on that one. And then you have this eye for weakness, which is kind of like basically you're going to pick an enemy hero and you're going to get +1 to your wound rolls for everybody that attacks them. So you're kind of marking a target here. And +1 to wound rolls don't happen very often, so that's a cool one because that'll stack really nicely with with all that attack and other things. For artifacts of power, you have a scroll of petrification. This is going to make somebody turn themselves to stone. They're going to get a 2-up ward, which means every die other than a 1 will completely negate all damage. Every die result, which is really great. Gauntlets of punishment, which can do damage during the shooting phase, and then the Crucible of Spite, which can give demonic power points. It can help make up for that a little bit, it looks like. Now, they have their own spells and their own prayers. There's one that I really want to point out that is the one that in some of the previews that I've seen really jumped out at me. So we've got, what is this one? You can have somebody's movement characteristic. Amazing spell for Hateful Fractures. You have Smog, which will give obscuring to terrain, which is okay. But the movement is a really good one. That one's also unlimited, so if you have multiple wizards, each wizard can try to cast this once. But Molten Metal, this is the spell that I think really is super nasty, especially against people that are hard to hit. You're going to pick a wizard. You see the 8 here. You roll 2d6, you need to get an 8 to do it. So it's not the easiest spell to cast. It's nice if you have bonuses to your, to your casting. You pick a wizard to cast a spell, and then pick a visible enemy target within 18 inches to make a cast, and that's a 2d6 roll. You roll, see if you get the 8. You roll a number of dice equal to the unmodified casting roll, and inflict a mortal damage to the target for each roll that exceeds the target's save characteristic. So I need at least an 8. So let's assume I get an 8, right? And I'm rolling 8 dice. If I got somebody who's hard to hit, if they're a 3-up save, every die that equals or exceeds. So it's only 1s and 2s aren't going to do mortal damage. So this is probably going to do at least 6 mortal wounds to somebody from a spell. That's insane. Now, if I roll higher than this, if I rolled a 12 and you're a 2-up save and you're somebody who's really, really hard to hit, guess what? I'm probably going to kill you. This is an insanely really strong, and it's so strong against people who are strong because it turns their armor against it. It melts their metal, which is wild, right? For prayers, I haven't looked at these too much yet. We've got brick flames. It says you roll a number of dice equal to the number of models on a target unit. For each 5 up, inflict mortal damage on the target. If it was 8 or higher, and again, prayers now, you roll a single d6, so the number up here is what you need to meet or beat to cast the spell, but you can always stockpile points. If you say, you know what, I don't want to cast it right now. I'm going to save those 5 points for next turn. Because maybe you were trying to get a roll of 8 or higher. How can you get an 8 on a d6? You add your stockpiled points to it. Then you can do mortal damage for the target that was for each 4 up. So you got a big nuke here for praying. The Furnace Blessing. It adds 1 to the Rend characteristic of a melee weapon for the rest of the turn. If the chanting roll was 8 or higher, the melee weapons gain crit mortals for the rest of the turn. This is beautiful. This is great support. This is kind of what you want from prayers. Obsidian shards here, D3 mortal damage on the target and subtract 3 from their control score for the rest of the turn. If the chanting roll was 10 or higher, you can pick another eligible target to be the second target. I think Furnace Blessing is really the best one here, although the Black Flames can be nice also if you're running multiple priests. It is an unlimited spell. Again, unlimited just means multiple priests can cast it. We're going to look at the actual units though, because we got some really cool units here. This is the Big Bull. Now we don't have this one in here, but again, this is a full battle tome. It does have all of the scroll or all of the war scrolls for every unit, and these are full page war scrolls. There are also war scroll cards here. There's every single one. We have the Spearhead, and we have the Spearhead cards. We have the Spearhead war scrolls for everything, but then we also have every single war scroll, and then cards for battle formations, battle traits, all of these really cool stuff in here. But rather than look at the super tiny cards, which sometimes have to be flipped over, and again, these are great to have as a reference. This honestly, fantastic army set. All right, we've got Uruk-Tar, who's a massive big bull. He's got a shoot in combat, crit 2 hits, range 18 attack, 6 dice, 4 up, not very great, damage 3. He's got 2 melees, 4 dice, 4 up, 3 up, and 6 dice, 4 up, 2 up, rend 1 and D3, and rend 2 as a 7. He is a wizard 2. He can cast twice. He has his own spell here, Curse of Stone. Typical battle damaged. And again, the army's main thing here is these demonic power points. Everybody's going to power up based on how many demonic power points they have. If he's got 1, he gets a 6-up ward. If he's got 2, he gains a 5-up ward. And if he's got 3, add 2 to his casting rolls, which is really good for a wizard 2. I love it. He's going to be fun. He is unique. He also has, if he charged, pick an enemy within 1 to be the target, D3 mortal wounds to the target, then roll 2d6. He can move a distance up to the value of the roll. During that move, he can pass through other models and must end his move in combat. This is a great ability, especially when you're trying to break through. Somebody's got a gun line or they're shooting behind you. You know, charge in and then power across them. 2d6 can get you a lot of movement, can put you in combat with somebody else. You just have to end in combat. But you have a big base on this guy. He's a big unit. So that's going to be the difficult of that. But yes. And then you can, you can get rid of the enemy hero phase. You can remove demonic power points from any combination of units wholly within 18 and then allocate them to different Hobgrots, Hellsmiths of Hashut units within 18 of this unit. I guess if you're not going to be casting on your opponent's turn, then you won't necessarily need it, but you'd want the wards, wouldn't you? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then there's the generic version here, which has a slightly less attack dice, also battle damage. He's got an Unholy Stampede, this is a really important thing. You can, while any Hellsmiths of Hashut cavalry is within 12 inches of this unit, they can retreat and charge later in the turn and take no mortal damage from retreating. This is, I think, one of the craziest abilities I've ever seen. It's really good for them to be able to retreat, not take damage, and then charge again is incredible. So the problem is that this is one kit for both of these guys, and which one are you going to build? You know, you could just build one and say who you're going to run, but maybe you want to run 2 of them. Oh gosh. And that's the thing, they made both versions really desirable. I'm going through these kind of quick. I'm skipping over some of the abilities. The Despot here, he's got a decent little attack. 5 dice, 3 up, rend 1, damage 2. Not bad, although I don't imagine you're probably not using him as a front line, right? He's a 4-inch move. These guys are slow. Dwarves have short legs, right? So that's going to probably be a problem. But he's got a passive where he can add 3 to the control score of other infantry, whether within 6 of him, and he adds 6 to the range of this for each demonic power point he has. Everybody's going to have stuff for the DPP, right? The DPP, that's what we're calling it. Then he's got a reaction when you fight. You can pick a friendly infantry non-hero that has not used a fight ability yet, and then they can fight. And if to do so, add 1 to the attack's characteristics of their melee weapons for the rest of the turn. So I guess you do want him frontline. He has crit mortals on this, which is not bad for a 2 damage thing. That's pretty nice. That means if you make that first roll as a 6, you get to skip everything else, and there's no defense against it. So crit mortals are really good. And there's a couple of things that have crit mortals and some really cool crit effects in here. I think these 2 guys are the same kit. No, maybe they're not. We have a Daemon Smith, who is a Wizard 1, and we have a Priest 1 here for the Ashen Elder. He's got an 18-inch ranged attack with crit 2 hits, only 3 dice, 4 up, D3, and then a 3 up, 4 up melee attack. It's actually not terrible in melee with D3 damage. A lot of times mages tend to have a little bit of surprises in melee if people can get too close to them. He's a wizard. He doesn't have his own spell, but he does have Molten Mending. He can heal. And this is interesting because, like, you would think priests heal, but sometimes some factions, their priests do damage and the wizards heal. And sometimes it's a little weird like that. And then our priest over here has he can ignore the first damage point allocated to each non-Hobgrot Hellsmiths of Hashut unit. I'm going to call them they're just the Hellsmiths or the Chaos Dwarves for now on. Being able to ignore damage is good, and of course it extends range based on his DPP. You got place of power stuff also. If you're contesting an objective, a place of power, or a terrain feature, objective, place of power, or terrain feature has friendly desolation token, give this unit 1 ritual point. So that's pretty cool. So he can power up his spells, and he can do a big priest spell. So you want to kind of park him somewhere safe, let him power up a bunch of spells. These ranged guys are really cool. They have a long gun or a short gun, right? So although the long gun is only 12 inches and the short gun is 18, so I don't know. I would have guessed that this type of gun here looks a little bit more like a shotgun, which looks like more like a blast, close range, high damage, and this one looks more like a long range weapon. I don't know. That's fine, I suppose. They have blunderbusses, though. There are definitely blunderbusses. All right, the blunderbusses range 18. 1 attack per model, 3 up, 2 up, no rend, but damage 2. And these guys are 3 attacks per, even though it's short range. All right, it's definitely a flamethrower then. 3 attacks per, and 2 up, 4 up, rend, no rend, and damage. There's not a lot of rend here. So we've got some cool abilities that you can do. The Manglers of Metal during the shooting phase. Or as passive, rather, it says, add 1 of the rend characteristic for each demonic power point they have. So they can potentially be rend 3, which would be really nice. So very cool. And they can take Hobgrots as well if you've got goblins sitting around. We've got our infantry, spears and blades. So we don't have like anything other than outside of spears and blades, but we have, they're pretty cool. All right, I'm going to see if I can figure out what this guy is here. He's a gong carrier. Maybe he's for the musician. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so that makes sense. They're not great. I think they're 10 models per. 2 attacks, 3 up, 4 up. It's not half bad. They're anti-infantry, so +1 rend. So that's probably going to be a rend 1, damage 1. Like, they're a pretty solid unit. I know the points were published. I don't have the points in front of me right now. I also love that on this page they fighting more dwarves. They're pretty much exclusively fighting dwarves, and I really do like the look of the Chaos Dwarves against the Fire Slayers here, because the one criticism that people give of Fire Slayers is that they all look the same. Well, that's one of the criticisms, right? But they really do stand out against the Chaos Dwarves, so that's a very cool thing. So we have got we've got the spears. We have the gongs. The gong carriers are tokens. There's one gong character for every musician in the unit. If you use a rally command, you can remove the gong carrier to make an additional rally roll of D6. So like that's okay. I don't know if that really needed to have a guy in there for that, but I mean, like, okay, that's still cool. So that's a little bit of their guys. I'm going quicker through this. These are different dudes. These guys are very cool. This is their cavalry. They're centaurs. There's two runs. You can run them anointed sentinels or bull centaurs. Their 10-inch move, again, you're going to struggle with movement, so these guys have a lot of movement, which really helps. And again, where you keep that other guy on there, then these guys can then pull out of combat and then charge back in, which is really cool. These guys have charge plus 1 damage, and then crit mortals, which I really like. The bull centaurs, I think this is the one I'd kind of rather run. They have 4 attacks per, 3 up, rend 1, damage 2. Again, charge 1 damage, so that's going to be a damage 3 with crit mortals. That's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how many models you're getting per unit of bull centaurs, but that is something. Anointed sentinels here. They're 3 up, rend 1, damage 2. Also, less dice, anti-cavalry, and charge 1 damage. They have... if you countercharge with them, you get strike first, which is really nice, and then add 1 to the charge rolls for each of their demonic power points for both units. These guys also have bull charge, which is where you can roll a die for each model in this unit, add the number of demonic power points, and then for each 6, inflict mortal damage. So they do damage after they charge. We're almost done here. The rocket battery here, and then the Tormentor Bombard. These are also in the box. Well, this is also, well, either one, the build options for both are in the box here, which is something that I like to see. You know, like for example, our other guy, we have the hand cannons, and we also have the mesas. So we have the options to build these guys lots of different ways, which is fun. This guy's got 24-inch range, 3 attacks, 4 up, 2 up, rend 2, D3 plus 2 damage. That's a really nice thing. He during my shooting phase, damage characteristics of his rockets is 5 if the target is a monster or a war machine. So he's really good at monster hunting or war machine hunting at 24-inch range. And in reaction, I declared a shoot ability, and all of his attacks target the same enemy unit. Roll a dice equal to his demonic power points. If this unit has other enemy unit within combat range of the target, the shooting attacks for each 3 up inflict mortal damage. So basically, he's got splash damage as well, which is really cool. Now, this guy's got 30-inch range here, which is really nice. Anti-cavalry, anti-infantry, which is plus 1 rend there. 4 attacks, 3 up, rend 1, D3 damage. A little bit lower on the damage characteristic here, but a little bit higher range. 30-inch range is really good. We've got Ruinous Bombardment here during my shooting phase, and he's got a passive. Add 1 to the hit rolls for his shooting attacks to target an enemy unit within 5 or more models that are more than 12 inches from this unit. So he gets a benefit if you're farther away, again, especially against bigger stuff. So that's good for the 2 hit rolls, so you don't have to all-out attack on him, which I kind of like. So if you run one of each of these, and again, I think they really want you to buy, I probably should have picked up a second Hellsmiths of Hashut army set, right? They kind of want you to do that. We've got Ruinous Bombardment here. If he used a shoot command this turn, all of his attacks are to the same unit. And I can pick a number of enemy units within 6 inches of the target equal to the demonic power points, the DPP. And I can roll a die for each target on a 3-up. They cannot use commands until the start of your next turn. So this guy's a little bit suppressive with his thing. And then the Dominator Engine, I think that's the last one of the units, and we'll probably wrap it up there. I love this look. I love the look of this unit. We'll start with the Immolation Cannons. This is the one that's kind of on the box. He is a 6-inch move. He's a little faster, 10 health. He's got 2-up save. Oh, 2-up save is beautiful. He's got, it's a short-range cannon, though. He's only 8 inches. 5 attacks, 2-up, 4-up, rend 1, D3 damage. Anti-cavalry, and he also has shoot in combat, which is pretty good with only an 8-inch range. I like that you can do that. For his melee, He's got charge plus 1 damage. He's got 3 attacks with 4 up, 3 up, Ren 1, D3 damage. So it'll be D3 plus 1 if he gets it in there. Not a whole lot of damage if he's in melee, but if you're in melee and you fare throughout turns, being able to shoot in combat is pretty nice. But I really don't know what his points are. But he's a big guy, so he's probably going to be at least 200 points, right? I don't know. When picking targets for his shooting attacks, if you pick more than one unit to be the target of those attacks, add 2 to the attacks characteristic of his immolation cannons for each target picked. However, those additional attacks must be split evenly between the targets you picked. Oh, okay. So with his 5 attacks, you have to. So you could go with 5 different targets. 5 different targets at range 8. Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And then each one is going to get +2, right? And then you do it. So basically 3. So that ends up being 15 if you can get. Oh my gosh, that is a really, really cool. Almost burn. All right, I love that ability. He's going to be fun. I'll run this guy for sure. And then for each of his DPP, add 1 to his move and add 1 to his attacks of its weapon. Oh wow. This guy is insane, and I love him. I love him. He's my buddy. He's my new best friend. Okay, let's look at the melee version. He's got the Bane Maces of charge plus 1 damage. He's attack 4, 4 up to hit, 2 up to wound, Ren 1, and damage 3. If he charges, he's going to be a damage 4, which is going to be a strong melee attack. These guys also are automatons, which allow them to be the bodyguard for the one... depending on what kind of artifact of power or heroic traits you're choosing. So that's an important thing because he's a tough bodyguard with a 2-up save. Very much so. He also has demonic strength. So for each DPP he's got +1 move, +1 inch to move, and +1 to his attacks characteristics. So he could potentially have 7 attacks that are D4 I'm sorry, 4 straight up 4 damage if he charges. Which is really, really nice. He's got a combat phase ability, any combat phase, Engine of Domination. If this unit is in combat with enemy heroes, it can use 2 fight abilities. After the first one is used, he gains strike last until the end of phase. And it can only be picked to use the second fight ability if he's still in combat with enemy heroes. So he's a hero slayer, which is going to be a little harder to use against depending on the army that you're running. I like him, but I like this guy more because this guy seems like he is going to work in all situations, and the Dominator engine might only work in some situations. We also have the Spearhead stuff, and then we have some regiments of renown, some armies of renown, and all of that extra cool stuff, and then Path to Glory stuff if you're doing all of that. And then the Spearhead, all of the Spearhead stuff is there, and that is that. And then of course we have the cards for all of these. The way that the cards work is sometimes the stuff is on the back, and then sometimes when it's simple, the back is just the art. But yeah, this is everything. So you're getting all of the cards, not just what comes in this box, which makes for a fantastic, awesome army set. All right, that is a look at the Hellsmiths of Hashut army set. Tremendous value for what you're getting here. You're getting, you're getting an army starter. You're getting a spearhead. You're getting all the spearhead cards. You're getting a couple of big units. You are getting your battle tome. You're getting all of your cards, bases, and you're supposed to also get a transfer sheet. It should have looked a little something like this. I didn't get a transfer sheet. I've gone through everything again. If you did pick this up, let me know if you got a transfer sheet. Where was it? Like, did they hide it in here somewhere or something like that? I don't know where it was supposed to have been. I probably wasn't going to use it anyway, but it would have been nice to at least have had the option. So yeah, I guess that's something to keep in mind. Or did they hide it somewhere? Like, do I have to peel open the book cover to find it or something like that? I don't know. I'm curious if anybody has any tips, or if anybody has the same issue of not getting the decals, the transfer sheet. I didn't get that. Not really going to lose any sleep over it because, again, I probably wasn't going to use it anyway. I don't even have a color scheme planned for these guys. It's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long, lengthy process. But I'm really grateful that the tome, the battle tome, has everything. I got all the war scroll cards, and also like some of the bonus ones too, like their Regiment of Renown cards, which is a really, really cool thing. I like that quite a bit. Like a lot of these extra stuff. Army of Renown cards. There's an Army of Renown here. There's I usually don't like running Armies of Renown because that's usually like favor, like, oh, that's good if you run like, if you have like 7 of this one type of unit. And I like to run the even mix of everything. I don't like to min-max or play too hyper competitively, because then when something gets nerfed, your day is completely ruined. But for me, if I'm running like 1 or 2 of everything, if something gets nerfed, that's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm like, oh, that's 10 points that I have to shave off my army, no problem. You know, so anyway, really cool stuff. Great value. Definitely check it out. And if you want to see more, check out the socials when I get these guys painted up. And plus I've been posting like Warhammer battle reports and stuff like that. You know, definitely check out all the links in the description below, and jump in our Discord and all that other stuff. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing and help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dude. So say we all, and always wash your sides.